Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Ba-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Today we are going to talk about Amazon Prime's Fallout, a series based on the Fallout games, post-apocalyptic nuclear war series. Full spoilers for all 8 episodes. Here we go. Won-Jin, let me go first.
Okay.
You know, I played the first 2 Fallouts extensively in the
really?
late 90s, yeah. Because this brought back a lot of the memories.
You know, this would be very interesting because I've played none of the games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, because, but I was a little bit worried because Fallout was, let me talk you, like, Fallout as a game, especially the first 2 ones, their position in... Oh, what's up, Zedzi?
What's up?
Big shout out to Zedzi. Oh, and thank you to our new 36th subscriber. You are one of our original 100. The JoeJinMovieSoAwesome loyal bunch. Welcome to the family. But anyway, so... Because it was stuck between a lot of more... I mean, it was an iconic game, but as a game genre, it was very ambiguous. Because the first 2 was... kind of like Diablo, but they were actually turn-based.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they shared the same graphic as the Diablo series and StarCraft, where they were 2D.
But they pretend to be like 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And one more thing is, it was basically the GTA before GTA.
You mean it's like kind of like a free world thing?
It's not the first 2 aren't free world, but it's not like Diablo where you're fighting a demon. Called Diablo, and you're this warrior in a very, corrupted place. It's Fallout because there were a bunch of weird zombies, mafia, a lot of drugs. Part of the Fallout charm is you get to heal. You have steroids, bunch of steam pack that heals you instantly. Because it was this pre-millennium huge optimism for science and stuff.
Oh, ZZ. It was very rudimentary. I only played the newer version of Fallout.
Yeah.
That means you played the first 2 extensively. ZZ played the later ones, and I haven't played any of them.
Zezzy is talking about, I think 2007 or 8.
Like the 3D one?
The third one. That one is the one where I think this one is more based on.
Oh.
So I was a little bit unfamiliar with like some of the color gradings.
Yeah.
Because for me, the first 2 like had basically the same. I know you know this, like the Diablo color, where it's grimy and dirty. And the first 2 Fallout, I don't know if the third one is like that. I did play the third one somewhat, but over at a friend's house. But the first 2 one was basically GTA. Like you could just kill anybody, and you were just this. You were also a vault guy coming into the Wasteland. But the Wasteland is basically GTA on like Nuke steroids. so everyone is morally ambiguous, and you could do a lot of dirty work for local gangs or different vaults. So, and it had crazy cults, like So I went into this game thinking it was gonna be that.
Yeah.
But this series is the story is original, by the way. That
Okay.
Yeah, that story is not, like to contrast, like, how the Warcraft 2016 movie.
Oh, the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, basically had all the main cast of the original Warcraft.
Yeah.
This one is brand new. All these characters are basically living in a Fallout world that I'm familiar with the world, but I'm not familiar with these characters. But they are, because let me explain also the first 2. The first 2, like one of the charms of the Fallout series is, so Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. Yeah. So one of the charms of the Fallout series is that the setting is actually a character. Like this setting we're in, this
post-apocalyptic world?
But even the first 2, there was a 80-year gap between the first Fallout and the second Fallout. So this one, I'm assuming it's another 100 years after that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
it reminds me a lot of Gundam.
Yeah.
Gundam has like all these extensive plot lines that are centuries apart.
Yeah. So the first 2 Fallout, what is interesting is that the first Fallout, the main character is the ancestor of the second Fallout. So it kind of follows that Doom timeline where you're the original Doom guy and you're the descendant, but it's always this reset. So, but I would say the world that we inhabit is perfect like the game.
You mean in the vault?
Not just the vault, but the wasteland. The mood of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Won-Jin did KG style haircut. Yeah, what's up with Chan Hong?
Yeah. I think it's the KJU style haircut. The great leader haircut.
Oh yeah. Now I'm noticing it.
Yeah, Kim Jong Un.
No, I'm noticing it. But back to Fallout, like only two flaws though for me. One is the absence of mutants. Because in the game they are, besides ghouls, they are mutants. Oh. So ghouls they become that way because of the radiation after the nuke war. But the mutants are where, there's this virus that transforms them, called, I think, forced evolutionary virus that's played heavily in the first two games. And so what surprised me was that there was no mutants. They're like ogres in the Fallout world.
So they look completely different.
Yeah, they look like ogres.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they speak English?
Yeah. Some of them are smart, some of them are stupid, just like ogres in Warcraft. So another thing is like the original Fallout game had a lot of like religious elements to it too. Because the first game, spoilers for the first two games by the way, but they're 20 years old, but so this is not really a spoiler.
Makes me want to play the first two games.
Yeah, because one thing this series is missing is the first game has this character called the Master, and it's kind of like it's a biomechanical creature, like a supercomputer, but a human that's attached to it, like a disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one flaw here is in the first two games, like cybernetic human beings are a huge thing. You can upgrade yourself too as a character, but here there's none of that. So that was interesting. But besides that, like, I'm surprised how much like original thing. Yeah, Joe, it's hard to keep up with the Fallout story anyway because there are so many extension packs for each version. Yeah, each own synth. Yeah, but change the mutants in the game as well. Like you have super mutants, but also have some sort of crawlers. Yeah, exactly. No, so I want to say this before I hand it to you, Won-Jin.
Yeah.
I agree with Zenzi. What I wanted to conclude is they carried the spirit of the game really well, and gave a lot of creative freedom that they used themselves.
Yeah. So I mean, ZZ and Joe, you've both played the game, so you are somewhat more familiar with this entire the universe of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
But as someone who's completely unfamiliar with it, the only thing I know is that Pip-Boy logo thing and the music, and that's it. So I haven't played the game, but as someone who's new to this universe and the world, the show did an excellent job. I think the show itself, even if it's completely detached from the game, I would say that it's a very good show with very interesting characters.
One of the charms of the Fallout series is that there's always that's called the Vault Boy icon or stupid music where something horrible is going on, but like the music and the mood is very funny.
It's like artificially jovial.
It's kind of because one of the great things about Fallout is that it's really a satire. Like you are in this post-apocalyptic world, but the Fallout series as a whole is really kind of like GTA in that human beings are ugly creatures, but there's this sort of a kind of like the Joker line where, we will do horrible things politely. Like, it's really about the human animal.
And that reminds me of that scene where that, AI doctor robot thing, the Snip Snip robot, was trying to operate on, what's her name? I forgot her name.
The main character.
What was her name? But anyways, the main character. Yeah. And he talks in such a gentle, polite way.
Yeah.
But what he's about to do is something so horrible. And watching the show also reminded me a lot of that show called Silo that was released, I think, last year or
Apple TV.
The year before. Yeah. The one that stars Rebecca Ferguson and Tim Robbins. That show, after watching Fallout, I can kind of tell where they got their inspiration from, because it has very similar elements. They're also living in this underground vault, which kind of functions as like a society, and they have these governing systems. But eventually, Rebecca Ferguson kind of feels that something's off, and there are greater secrets behind these vaults.
Oh, but that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because this series, this first season, kind of sets up the vaults as this result of human capitalism, and the evils are represented by how weird the vaults can be.
Yeah.
But that's actually not from the game.
Oh,
yeah, because one of the unique things about the game is there is a implicit criticism of capitalism throughout the game. But at least for me, the first 2 games and the third one included, the vault isn't like that at all. The vaults, I mean, yes, there are companies that bring out the vaults, but one of the charms of finding the vaults is it's not the criticism of capitalism, it's just how weird they all are.
Oh, Lucy, that's right, Lucy Goosey.
Lucy Goosey, that's your name.
I appreciate that the series didn't depict the same exact stories as the game did before. It would have been boring for the players.
No, but Lucy is kind of like the closest thing to the player character, because at least the first 2, you're in this vault and you are supposed to, I think the third one is actually about finding a father figure too, if I remember correctly. So this series gleaned from that. The first 2 is actually, you're trying to find this, like, you're either looking for a water purifier or like...
that thing called the water chip.
Yeah.
You know, something was bothering me, because remember in the show, Vault 32 got fucked up, like big time. Don't you think they would have a functioning water chip there?
Oh man!
Why can't they just like pick one up from them and scavenge the water chip from Vault 32 and just use it there?
Yeah, right, Joe. She looks basically like the basic character. Exactly. No, because like the first 2 games is you come out of the vault. The second one you come out of the village, but that's a different story. But you're basically this innocent person, like finding out the post-nuclear war America for the first time. And it's a fucking shithole. She, I think the series actually overplayed that really well, where she's an innocent person. But all that story about like her mother and the Ghoul thing is all this series.
Yeah.
Like, it's not from the game.
You know, and also, you mentioned that Vault-Tec plot line. This capitalism, criticism on capitalism and everything is like new on the show. It reminded me a lot of like other stories of a post-apocalyptic world, you know, like the Resident Evil series. You always have this like one company that basically kind of destroys the world, or they're accountable for it, like the Umbrella Corporation or something. So it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, but like I'm glad you brought that up, but the big difference between at least the Fallout game and them is that the Fallout game doesn't really have like a grand narrative, because those ones are very like tight. Yeah, and there's like there's this climax, and like the criticism of the world is implicit. But like the charm of the Fallout game is that it's like GTA, where the missions are there if you want to do it, but no, the fun is like finding out what the fuck is this weird vault and doing like stupid shit, like dumbass shit. So like the series have all like the iconic like moments from the game, because the dog is really important in the first 2.
Really?
Yeah. You find a dog, like you can train it and it follows you around.
Oh, is it also named similarly? It was like CX404 or something?
No, I think the original game, the first dog in the first one is called Dog Meat or something. So like the jokes in the TV series are actually directly from the game. The game is very stupid. Like the names are fucking like dumbass, and that's part of the charm. It's like you're dog meat, and then you're a dog that follow around, and there's this like GTA vibe where you don't have to protect the dog at all. Like it's really, you can act like a piece of shit any place. And the only thing missing is like basically prostitutes and gangsters and cultists. That is in the original game, but it's like this. So you remember what I said in the beginning, that Fallout had like a kind of weird identity compared to Diablo or other games of that era. Is that it's hard to pinpoint down, because basically it embraces all those elements. Except you are in this post-apocalyptic world. Because you could argue that radiation is basically magic. Because radiation plays a huge part in the game. But it's just basically like a potion. Like it's not really taken that seriously, and you can cybernetically enhance yourself. You can fuck over people. So I think if it's the second game, depending on your actions, in the Wasteland, it's just like Red Redemption or GTA. In GTA, if you act like a shit, like cops follow you around.
Yeah, that's right. You're wanted, and then eventually even the military follow you.
Yeah. And so here in the original game, if you act like shit and start killing NPCs and stuff, like bounty hunters start hunting you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's basically like GTA. Special. What's up, Scott Walker?
The light, the vibes, the colors, the makeup, and even the shattered glass were so identical to what you would see in the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have prostitutes in New Vegas. Okay. Because prostitutes were big in the second one.
Which I don't know. What is that acronym, the special thing? SPECIAL. Is it something in the game? Scott Walker, what's up?
No, and like the namings of the stuff is the second. Now I remember, you're supposed to look for this thing called GEC. It's a Garden of Eden reset kit or something. So there's this like science is basically magic in Fallout.
Oh, that's the acronym, Garden of Eden reset kit.
There's a lot of acronym like that because there's a lot of like like a satire of what we name stuff. Like just because you're called Trust, it's like and I think. Oh, and by the way, like, it's game thing. S for strength. Yeah, it has all the stats. The stats are really interesting. But I don't know about the third one, but the second one had like stats like karma, just like Zedzi just said, and intelligence.
Yeah.
And
that's just like in Team America, intelligence. Yeah. That's the name of the supercomputer, and it stands for something stupid.
Yeah. But like all games at that time, agility is the best. Agility, like I don't think strength was good, but anyway, like, so let's go into the TV series. Let's talk about that story now. Yeah, like that's just the background.
One of the reasons why I liked it so much is because when you have a lot of characters, like having their own like character arc and storyline. It's very difficult to like stay focused. Often it becomes very like distracting, and it eventually never leads to anything concrete about each of the characters. But this show managed to do that really well. It kind of weaved together all these different character storylines.
Main three characters.
Yeah, three characters. One was Lucy. The other one was Maximus. And then we have the Ghoul. What's his name? I forgot his name. What was his name?
Doesn't matter. He's the Ghoul.
Yeah, the Ghoul, who used to be like a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
And they all have this arc. They from the beginning of the season to the end. Lucy, she's very innocent and she believes in what's right and good. You can see she kind of symbolizes like an ideal like member of society in a very civilized world. Maximus, on the other hand, he was rescued from like after like a nuclear explosion, and then he has no home, and then he was brought up under this, what's it called, the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah,
by the way, the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, he somehow reminds me a lot of Deckard Cain. Have you realized that?
Actually,
I didn't like Deckard Cain for some reason.
Deckard Cain is a kind character in Diablo.
I mean, like the way he's dressed and the way he talks and everything.
Yo, now that you brought, okay, let's do this. Lucy, Maximus, the Ghoul. Let me tell you something, Won-Jin. Maximus is for me the best fucking written character ever. Like, you know what he is? He's what that Star Wars turncoat that soldier guy,
the stormtrooper.
They wish they did it that way.
Yeah. Oh, come to think of it, that's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Man,
that's like what Star Wars wished they did that with that stormtrooper character.
I forgot his name. Finn.
The traitor of the Empire. Yeah. Because Maximus' story was like it was so human.
It was so human. I mean, morally questionable, but do we understand him? Yes. We understand the choices he made.
Come on, Won-Jin, let's not pretend we're better than him. Like, I would be shitting my pants too if I'm like fucking, I'm like an orphan, and then like I just see a radioactive bear try to kill.
Yeah, and I also like the little plot twists towards the end.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we kind of get this idea that Maximus sabotaged his colleagues becoming what were they called, squires, but it turns out he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually innocent.
Yeah. No, I thought that it was really well written because the writing is well done in the moral ambiguity and putting us at continuous suspense.
Yeah.
Like up until the end. Like, because I'm surprised just as you, Won-Jin, because none of this shit is in the game. This is like new story for me too. Yeah. And that Brotherhood of Steel, I think Zezzy, you'll agree, they're different per game. Like that Squire shit is just like made up for the show. But I was surprised at their social structure.
You know, I thought it was really strange because, you know, the Squires, they carry this huge duffel bag and follow that armor.
Yeah.
But, you know, the armor is power assisted.
Yeah.
Why can't he carry his own shit?
Yeah.
Isn't that more effective?
I know, like that's part of the charm of the series too. And I love how they all have Latinated names like Thaddeus, Maximus, Titus. They have all these like grand imperial names because if I remember correctly, even in the game those guys have those names. But except the funny thing, even in the game is like, you know, the best line from the series. There's two best lines from the series that are basically directly from the game, which is
war never changes.
Yeah, that one's a very famous one. And the second one is everybody's trying to save the world in their own way and fucking up. That's a huge theme in Fallout. Because in the Fallout, the charm is just like GTA, you meet these various factions.
Yeah.
But you as a main character, because you are an objective observer, you know that you're all batshit crazy. You're fucking morons. Like that's part of the charm. And one of the great thing about Maximus is what I'm trying to say is just like in Star Wars, if you really think about the imperial ideology, you're like, we're fascist and we're following this crazy grandpa for some reason, right? But the Maximus is such a well done character because he's kind of a good, he's trying to do good, but he fucks up. But he also is realizing the flaw of the belief systems.
And in key moments, you can see that he still has a human heart.
Yeah, BOS were always considered idiots by no, but Brother of Steel, but the charm is the Brother of Steel are considered idiots even in the game, but the charm is their power suits because they look fucking amazing.
Yeah. And
in the game, by the way, like one thing that made me sad was I wish Lucy got on one of them because that's like a super power up. Yeah, that's a fucking amazing. It's either that or cybernetic and enhancement.
The upgrade.
Yeah, you can like cyborg yourself. But that was well done. But like ZZ is like. The great thing about Fallout is it's a satire. There's always implicit criticism for everybody, like all the factions. And Brother of Steel is one of them. But one thing that's missing is the mutants too, though.
And you know, apart from Maximus, the Ghoul, the one played by Walton Goggins, one of our favorite actors ever since The Shield.
We love him.
We love him. His story arc was also very, very interesting. Also his flashbacks, because the show starts with him like doing this birthday party gig after apparently like he lost his fame, I think. And then we have these flashbacks of his previous life, and we see how closely intertwined he was with Vault-Tec. And that story, that flashback story itself was also very, very intriguing. It was also very well written. I also love like how he was initially very supportive of his wife, and then later on it's revealed like how psychotic his wife truly is.
I don't know about psychotic.
Well,
but
she's basically like genocidal.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, genocidal. Psychotic was the wrong word, but genocidal she truly was.
Yeah, but that's one of the themes of Fallout too. Like people with good intentions do fucked up things. And you know, like Lucy was such a great character in that, like her and Maximus are basically our POV characters. You know, because Lucy kind of represents us well, because like she's just feeling the crazy world for the first time too. And I'm glad you brought that up, because there was such a build up to the Ghoul's character. Yeah. Because in the first half, I actually had no idea why they were continuing to show us like his flashbacks. And him being the Vault Boy is all new to the series. Yeah.
And then, you know, when he shot the face of that billboard Pip-Boy, I was wondering why he did that. But later on, as the show progresses, we learn why he has so much hate towards Vault-Tec.
Yo, Scott Walker, let's talk about those in our Let's Talk session.
Yeah, the killer whale.
Yeah. Oh, I really regret they didn't use Super Mutant. I would have loved to see someone like Momoa. Yeah, hey, Zessie, I have a theory for that. Because, Zessie, my theory on why the series didn't put in the Super Mutants, Won-Jin, that's the ogre characters I told you about, is because I think introducing them would have caused budget hike and for different people to not be able to enjoy the show. I think they might. Zessie, my theory is that if there is a season 2, that's when the Super Mutants will appear.
Yeah.
Like as important side characters.
Because I'm guessing the first season, what we just saw, is probably getting a lot of good reception. Very, very positive reception. And the studio will probably green light second season, I guess. And then, blank check.
Yeah, exactly.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, because I think that they had a practical difficulty on whether to make them like CG or have them practical effect, and I think just putting in Super Mutants would have been very difficult logistic wise. So I I think the next one will, because if you bring in Super Mutants, remember that character, that ocean guy that used to be human, that monster,
the Gulper. Oh, that was also a surprise. I was wondering why the tentacle kind of thing inside looked like human fingers.
Yeah.
And later on, we realized that thing used to be like human. That's like a human hybrid.
Yo, Won-Jin, let me tell you something. Like, that's a gentle like creature.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the game, remember, you have radiation, so like you have all kinds of crazies, and I think that this season was designed to invite like newcomers and make us ease up in the world. But I think the second season will have Super Mutants and crazy things, and I bet the writers right now are discussing how to implement that in the screen, whether it's 3G or practical effects, because Super Mutants are very important in the game, because the first game is about Super Mutants. Spoilers is like you meet this church of whatever, and they're this front for the unity, just like in Diablo. Remember, like the cathedral of Zuka light is for Diablo. So it's like the same thing, except like their world plan is to turn the world and everybody into mutants. So that's like the plot line of the first game.
Yeah, and I think it was a great idea for them to leave out the Super Mutant as a newcomer. Yeah. Because these three characters, they were very, very immersive for me. And the Ghoul, I mean, if there was like another character, like one more character in this 8-episode season, I think it could have been distracting. I don't think each of these characters would have gotten as much focus as they deserved. Yeah. So I also love like how the characters are so different from each other. I love the fact that the Ghoul has outlived everybody. He's more than 200 years old, so he basically retains all the history of what went on from like pre-war to like when they're living right now in what was it, 2001 2177 or something. And I also love how he's mostly very reserved, and he gives off this like grumpy vibe. He just can't be bothered to talk about anything because he's lived so long, and somewhat like cynical. But I love the show. I mean, I love the fact that the show gave him like these little moments when he kind of, doesn't really tell us directly or explicitly. But remember the scene after he comes into that drug place, and then he watches his own movie on the TV, and then we can kind of see like what was going on in his mind through his face.
Not kind of up to interpretation.
Yeah, and it's like him kind of remembering what he used to be in the past. He used to stand for justice in the movie, at least. Yeah.
No, but like that's like all the series, because, and I'm glad the show brought in a lot of weird side characters too, besides the main character. Remember that weird doctor who fucks chickens?
The guy who sells the serum.
Yeah. Because that kind of weird character is from the game. Because as we're talking now, I have a great idea to describe the Fallout series. It's like the Wild Wild West has sex with medieval world, and then later
and then it gets nuked.
No, gets an orgy with nukes, and that's the Fallout world. And that's why it's hard to pin down what the genre is, because it's a mix of that. But the TV series brought that well, because when the ghoul enters the new village for the first time, there's this Wild Wild West vibe.
Yeah.
But in the world, in the original game, they're actually more crazies. Like, people are like batshit crazy, and like, I think in the second season, Zezzy, I think you'll agree though, they will have more ghouls too, because one thing the TV series didn't get into is like there are villages where the ghouls and people live together, and some villages where the mutants and people live together. So it's this. It's not like World of War. It's kind of like World of Warcraft where elves and ogres live together. Except, you know, in like World of Warcraft, one is the immortal elves and one orc is the proud evil warrior. Right here is like everyone's fucked up. Like, these are radiant beasts, and it's like the humans are no better. They have all these psycho. They have this like tribalism. It's like a post-apocalyptic world mixed with the mixed with Americana basically. Because remember, in the even in the TV series, there's this New Republic of California, right?
Bear with two heads.
Yeah. Oh yeah, feral ghouls go because there's more feral ones out there and they hunt in packs. Yeah.
Oh really? They hunt in packs?
Yeah.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, ghouls are just the start of it too. Yeah. So super mutants look like gym boys with overload on steroids, and their skin got green, and they're super beefy and huge veins, and they scream all the time.
Sounds like Bane from Batman.
Not just that, but remember I said ogres. They're like orcs. They're orcs from Warcraft. Yeah. So.
But they're badass in their own way.
Yeah.
I love how badass the Ghoul is depicted in this show. Like how competent he is at gunslinging. I mean, characters like these we've seen before. Remember that that gunslinger kind of bounty hunter thing from The Mandalorian? Was it the guy with the orange eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen characters like this all the time, but not so extensively with this backstory and the flashback and everything.
Oh yeah, now that you mentioned that, we did meet another ghoul that was about to turn feral.
Oh yeah, his friend?
Yeah, not
and
his
the lady.
friend. No one is our friends here, by the way. That's the charm of the Wasteland.
And I love how, like, after he was about to go feral, he gets killed, and then
they make an ass jerky out of him.
What's it called? The ass jerky?
Yeah. No way, and the glowing ones are supercharged when they are stronger. The rest, and they glow in the dark. Yeah. No, but I think they are going to introduce us to more crazies from Fallout. Like, because the world in general is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the show did a great job at keeping me entertained and also getting me interested enough in the world of Fallout to make me feel like want to play the game. So I think this is a very successful show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one faction that actually got very little screen time is the Enclave. Because Enclaves are also a huge part from the games. They are a different kind of Brotherhood of Steel. They're like the pseudo government. They're like spoilers.
Oh, are they the ones that gets gunned down by the Ghoul?
On which one?
The sheriff and everything.
Oh, I don't
know. Because there were these guys who called themselves the government.
Oh.
And then there were these two the sheriff and the deputy, and they brought the Ghoul in for
that
ruining the drug place.
I think in the series they're different. Those government guys are basically local gangsters. Because there are gangsters in the
Caesar's Legion.
Yeah, exactly. That's a spoiler for the games. But I think the Enclave, I think they're building them up for the second one. Because the second one the Lucy's father goes to New Vegas, and that's another famous.
That was New Vegas.
That was Vegas.
Okay.
And I think they're going to introduce Enclave as something similar to the game, but maybe a more over-aching evil. Because let me tell you something, Won-Jin. Like, depending on the game, the factions, their power level and all that stuff like differs. Because the Brotherhood of Steel, I think, depending on the game, they're not a unified they are a unified organization, but they have different chapters. So depending on region, there are like subsects of the Brotherhood of Steel. They basically follow the same moral code, but they're all different.
They're kind of like the real knights.
Yeah.
They're the Teutons.
Yeah.
They're the St. John's.
Yeah.
They're the Templars.
Yeah. Like I said, one of the charms of Fallout is unlike like Diablo or StarCraft, there isn't like this overaching rule. Like everybody is like GTA crazy, but they just keep reoccurring, like just like in the series. But the series did a good job of trying to make like the Vault-Tec a big villain. Because those names, Robotech and all that, they're from the game.
Except Robco.
Yeah.
Robco and all these like corporations getting together.
Yeah, what is this show you guys are talking? Fallout. From Amazon, Scott Walker. It's a great show. But to the writing, I just the humor were just great. You know, one of the best scenes for me is when the doctor gets his leg shot. Like when Ghoul shoots him, right? I did not expect that. Like the wanton violence, because in my mind I'm thinking this doctor is gonna play an important role. Bam! And then like
his whole ankle is gone.
Yeah. No, but like one of the charms of the game, just like this TV series, is that like life-threatening injury are treated very casually. Let's stuck the cybernetic leg and make it function. Because in the game, like if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. Correct me. Like even if you get like your like arm chopped up or something, like putting a steam pack makes you better. So there's this whole joke about the whole thing where steroids will cure everything.
Yeah, I mean they even do that to the dog. Remember the dog got shot and then he gets that stim pack injection.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah. That's like one of the charm of Fallout is because it's Mad Max Fury Road with Nuke. Like what you and I will consider life-threatening is considered very casual. Like it conveys the world they live in, because life is cheap. Life is not worth anything.
And I also love the surprise of that chicken fucker guy. Because remember, like when the doctor leaves the town of Philly, he's trying to promote his serum, saying that like leg healing, foot healing, blah blah blah. I thought it was bullshit, but later on in the show, it turns out that it's true. Except that you turn into a ghoul. Yeah, the moment he actually was telling the truth. He could heal that foot.
Yeah, except the moment that healed, I was like, yeah, you're ghoul. but that part was also good because I think this show also takes a lot from like old Japanese Rashomon or like old like series or Ronin movies where no one is really good or bad. Because Thaddeus, like by the end of the series, I kind of felt sympathetic for him too, with his like travels with Maximus. Yeah, and then his duo.
That was also really interesting that they actually even developed a character like Thaddeus by telling him like stories. I mean, he was feeling that it was okay to talk. It was okay to be open and talk about it because Maximus wasn't there. So I like how much attention all these characters got. Yeah. And you mentioned humor. Another humorous, well, maybe it was just funny for me, but another funny scene was when the what's it called, the Brotherhood of Steel the night Titus first encounters the bear, and then he completely chickens out. He basically tells the squire to go check it. Yeah. And then when the bear approaches him from the back, he's like, "Oh fuck!" And then once that mask opens, it turns out he's basically like a bitch. That was hilarious for me because you know how the voice is modulated to give them like this presence and this dominance, but it turns out he was chicken shit.
No, and one of the great thing about this series is I think, unlike some other series you mentioned, I thought thematically and writing wise, this the series had multiple themes, and one of them is about the truth and lying. It was a great theme because Lucy keeps meeting these characters that are sometimes disingenuous, sometimes tricky, but one of the great themes of it, even the ending where the truth is revealed, right? Maximus and Lucy were great characters in that because one of the redeeming one of the reasons why we love Maximus, I think, by the end, is because he decides to tell the truth. Near the end, telling her in this critical moment in this different vault, she says, I'm actually not Titus, I'm Maximus." And because that theme goes well with the Ghoul's the story, because one of the Ghoul's plot line is about his own like self-capital interest. He wants money, but it's about love and the greater lie that the wife does. And I thought them conjoining at the end. Remember, even the ending is a lie. Remember, Maximus didn't do much, but his friend, the woman,
like, "Oh, you killed the enemy's leader." Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
exactly. So you mentioned that it was written by Jonathan Nolan. I didn't know that. So the writing was great in the fact that, you know, what is the truth and what is lying, and because one of the great thing about the three main characters is their personal struggle of whether I have to keep the golden rule, the integrity, but the reality of the wasteland doesn't allow them to do that. So I thought that theme was written really well, because by the end, I don't know about you, Won-Jin, but I felt it really really catharsis when Lucy finds out that Ghoul is her mother.
Yeah, that's right.
And her father had been lying. But that had to, because the way she feels about her father is the way the Ghoul feels about his wife.
Exactly. And it was like a parallel moment in different times. And that's what the show did so well, like I said. It manages to keep everything tight with all these different character stories. Yeah.
And that's an overarching theme of the TV series Fallout is, you know, how much are you willing to compromise about yourself when you are stuck in this, you know, dog-eat-dog world? Because dog is there to remind us of that world. Yeah.
Literally, dog-eat-dog.
Yeah.
That's right.
But what the series does well is make us want to go into season 2, because now the Ghoul and Lucy has this mission to accomplish about finding an even greater truth behind it. Because, you know, one of the charms of the game is that, yeah, there are lies and layers, but they're not streamlined like this, though. So the TV series brought that out really, really well. And I think that endeared us to the characters a lot. Because even the Ghoul, the first time we see him, he kills the other bounty hunters, right? Yeah. But by the end of the series, now that we have this omnipresent view of his past, we're like, you're a sympathetic guy. You know, like you just wantonly shot a great good doctor trying to save the power off it, but it just endears us to these characters a lot. Yeah. These motley crew. Yeah, he kind of remind me of, you know, Chaucer in English, you know, like the Canterbury Tales, where everyone's a piece of shit basically, but you gotta make sense of the world somehow, right?
Oh, in the game it's difficult to get stim packs. One stim pack is 6 caps. It's super difficult to earn 6 caps at the beginning because you have to do about 2 or 3 quests to get 10 caps. Can we talk about Scream 6? Oh, Scott Walker, man. I'm really sorry. I still haven't seen Scream 6. So it might have to wait. I'm really sorry.
But I'm not sure if it is a woman, because the Dean, I feel like... But Zizzy, I'm glad that they didn't...
Oh, the name isn't Dean. It's Dane. It was Dane, yeah. I think it was a woman.
No, but I'm glad they didn't explain that too much.
It's very ambiguous because of the shaved head and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but still, we can kind of tell that she's a friend.
Yeah. So, but I like the writing on it where... Because, you know, when I think of game adaptation series, I rarely think of thematic depth. But I want to praise the writing and the creators, because they made a bold decision to not copy and paste the storyline from the game. Just take the world and then write original characters that reminds us of the game characters. Because all of them are like basically stereotype from the game. But the Brotherhood of Steel story caught me off guard the most, because you never think of yourself as one of them in the game at all. They're just this faction where you steal technology from them because they're not as smart as they think they are. Because you as an observer, you always meet another faction that think they're so clever, but because you're an outsider, you know they're fucking stupid. like they're fucking dumb. Because the Enclave, I think the Enclave is in the second game, if I remember correctly, because they have a president for life, and they take the structure of the U.S. government, but you can just shoot that motherfucker. You're like, fucking president now, bitch. Like, so, like, there's a lot of things that dark humor from the game is brought onto this TV series. So that was actually great.
Yeah.
One thing that made me sad is because I think the CG budget is limited. Because if they were going to bring up a radioactive bear, because remember there was a scene where there's a cow with 2 heads, right? Let me tell you something, Won-Jin. In the game, everything has 2 heads. Like, that cow is not the only one. There are a lot of 2-head creatures, and I think because of budget reason, and they wanted newcomers to, because you want people to relate to the human-like characters. So they didn't have those, but there are much more like mutants, like mutations in the game that are batshit crazy.
I'm not sure, but I think that the actor is a masculine person? Okay, maybe. Have you guys heard of the story of the Hound and the Baskervilles? It's a Sherlock Holmes story.
Oh, let me.
No, I haven't seen it. Oh, maybe we can wrap it up here.
You think so?
Yeah, because I mean we've been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Are you sure you should go now? Okay. Okay, never mind. All right, Joe's in the bathroom. He'll be back in about 30 seconds. So, as someone who's never played the Fallout game, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. If you haven't played the game, I strongly recommend you watch the show. If you have played the game, like Joe or ZZ, I think their reception is pretty good. So I think gamers should also watch the show. They would be, I don't know, mostly satisfied with the show. Hold on. His name is Ilya Mendes Jones. Okay, maybe it's a trans guy. All right. That's an interesting addition.
What's up? So you were giving your number grade, Won-Jin.
I would give this show, I think I can give this show a 9 out of
Really?
10. Yeah, I can give this a 9. I liked everything about it. Like the characters, the overall plot, the way it was shot. I even like the music of the, like the 50s and 60s old pop. Yeah, like the ink spots, and we have Nat King Cole playing.
Yeah.
And the contrast of like the piece of shit world and this peaceful, joyful, jovial music. Mm-hmm. I also love like the whole idea of this post-apocalyptic world. I think it was a very well done show. I would watch this again.
Let me give a Rotten Tomato like judgment on this. Great character-driven drama brings apocalyptic world to life, while making audiences want for more. So we need the next Steam Pack. Will be season 2. I give this an 8.5.
The only thing I the only thing I wanted more from this show was like this full out fight between the Brotherhood of Steel and the Moldaver clan. I think that was I think it was a budget issue. Because remember that was supposed to be this climactic fight in the end, but they didn't like show enough of what was going on. So I'm guessing it was a budget issue. But now that they have this reception, I'm guessing they're gonna invest more in the second season.
Oh my God, lol, Joe, same grade. Oh, you gave 8.5 too? Yeah, I give 8.5. I don't know about a bit better. For me, like one of the weaknesses was I felt like it could have been an episode shorter.
Oh really?
Yeah, around the end, I did feel like there were scenes where, kind of like Mad Max Fury Road, where we get an introduction of where they're going and we return, right? Here, I did think there were some scenes that were kind of redundant, that didn't add to the narrative that much, and that deducted a point from me. So it would have been a 9, but the 0.5 goes because while I understand their perspective, there were a lot of more madness that they could have brought from the Fallout world. Because I think they're going to have a great time for the season 2, because the Fallout series has been, like, it's 25 years long, that they have so many, like, buffet things to choose from to bring into the show. And I do commend them for trying to make a game that is so GTA-like and wide, and streaming it down to these 3 characters. That's when I say character-driven. Like, I stayed for the characters by the end of it. Yeah. Especially Maximus. I love... one of my favorite scenes is when Maximus tries to save Lucy, thinking that she's in danger. So that was funny because as a narrative, it worked perfectly, because we've seen him act cowardly, be disappointed by Brother of Steel. He's a kind of a piece of shit, but he wants to eat oysters all day in this vault. And then the first brave thing he decides to do is fucking idiocy. He's like, no, stop it! These 2 weeks of supply. And the music was...
I'm pretty sure like 2 guys are like hospitalized and probably maimed for life because of that.
Yeah, so it's like the first right thing he decides to do is a mistake. And Lucy's trying to say, stop! These people are trying to
They're just letting us go.
Yeah, most part because there is what the quests are, yeah. So,
and then I also love the fact that he returns the fusion core.
Oh yeah,
that was the right thing to do.
No, but Lucy makes him do it.
But he eventually gets persuaded.
Right. So that's the great charm about, like, them two are a perfect couple. I knew they were going to be a couple because they kind of reminded me a lot of Doom Part 2 too. Like these two innocents trying to make sense of themselves and the world they are in, and bonding, and the Ghoul being the sort of father figure, because he's kind of like this classic, like the master of the world guy, who's a sensei almost too, because
he kind, when he was dragging Lucy around, he somehow reminded me of Piccolo.
Yeah.
In Dragon Ball Z when he was training
exactly
Gohan.
Yeah, he's sort of the sensei that has this backstory that is very sad. But I'm not saying he's a good guy, but not everything he does is like malicious outright. There's a question mark to everything he does.
Yeah, and that's right. I wonder where the daughter is.
I think they're gonna play a huge part in because while I haven't played New Vegas extensively, because the ending showed us Vegas, I think they're gonna bring in the prostitutes, the mutants, and the crazy world from Fallout more in the second season by making it take place there. Because in the second game, I think there were like almost like 4 mafia factions.
I see the GTA resemblance, because
Exactly.
GTA has a lot of that.
Yeah.
That has like the Russians and Zaibatsu. And,
yeah. They're just more crazy because of the radiation shit. So 8.5 for me, Won-Jin 9. So we give this an 8.75.
That's right. A very strong show.
We highly recommend it if you just like dark comedy.
I mean, if we've talked about this a show for 50 minutes, it means it's pretty good.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's our take on Fallout from Amazon. We're going to take a 3-minute break.
And we'll be back to... Should we talk about Shogun once it ends? Or should we just have this Let's Talk session?
What, is this blood sugar level going down, Won-Jin?
Well, not really. I had ice cream. So I got plenty of blood sugar.
Pulling your leg. We're going to take a 3-minute break and decide what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Zezzy, big shout out to you for pitching in on. I'm glad you played the game too. Scott Walker, please watch Fallout. It's a great series if you haven't watched it yet.
Scott Walker. The Hound and the Baskerville story is a very old story from the early days. The movies came out in 1939 and 1954. Both films are on YouTube. Oh, okay, so we can check them out.
No, Baskerville is from Sherlock Holmes. Remember that old story?
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, this has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I was Joe.
I was Won-Jin.
We'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Bye. We'll be right back.
Vitamins.
Of course I didn't forget my vitamins. They're my stim pack.